Hey guys, welcome back to Chapter 1 and Beyond. Today's episode is going to be kind of different again. So today actually lands as my birthday, which, believe it or not, I turned 40. So, to celebrate my milestone birthday, I kind of broke my book buying ban and I got myself some books. So I thought today's episode would be fun to not only celebrate my another year around the sun, but to also talk about the awesome books that I now own physically on my shelf. And a lot of them are some amazing picks. I was really surprised when I went to Half Price Books how many I was able to get and for the price that I got them for. So I figure I'll just kind of go down my list. A lot of these books were incredible finds because I've been looking for a little bit for quite a few of these, and I just really surprised that they were there. So but yeah, the first one that I got was Oathbound by Tracy Deonn. This will complete my entire Legendborn series. I am literally obsessed with this series, and I'm really, really excited that I now physically own the third book. It was published in 2025, and this is I think the third and final in that Legendborn series. But it's kind of like Merlin style, magic system, and I'm looking forward to actually being able to round out the rest of the series because I've been avoiding finishing this because I just didn't physically own the book. And now that I physically own the book, I feel like I'm going to get closure with this. There's just so much that has happened in this series, and I'm hoping I could do a little mini series episode of all the series that I've been kind of deep diving into. That idea that I have with those deeper dives, they will contain spoilers, so I will voice that when I do get around to getting that episode up and running. But yeah, this book is 656 pages. I only paid $10.99 for this book at Half Price Books. And if you don't know what Half Price Books is, it is a secondhand a bookstore in Northeast Ohio. I really, really love going to Half Price Books. Actually, they have a website, so I will link in the description of this podcast for you if you guys are interested in looking at that. I'm pretty sure that they ship to all the states in the United States. I believe they also ship to Canada. And they may ship internationally. I'm not 100% sure. I'll look into that, and when I'm editing this, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, I finally have in my hands the Oathbound by Tracy Deonn, which is the third in the Legendborn cycle series. The next book that I got was Zodiac by Romina. I believe Romina something. Let me see if I can pull that up. Romina Russell. So I had heard about this series from a random search. I just came across it, and it was really interesting to me because yes, it's a YA science fiction fantasy type series, but I was really intrigued just because I've never really heard of this author at all. But I also was I really can't pass this up because it's only 336 pages. So I only paid $2 for this book. Two stinking dollars for this book. So I'm really excited. The average rating on hardcover is 3.4 stars, which It's okay, but the concept sounds absolutely incredible. Like, listen to this. When a violent blast strikes the moons of Cancer, sending its ocean planet off kilter and killing thousands of citizens, Roma Grace, a 16-year-old student from House Cancer, must convince 12 worlds to unite as one zodiac against Ophiuchus, the exiled 13th guardian of Zodiac legend, who has returned to exact his revenge across the galaxy. I think it's fantastic that we're utilizing zodiac signs for, like, it just sounds so cool. I don't know. To me, it sounds amazing. So I'm really, really excited about this pick. And the fact that I only paid the $2 for it, I'm like sold. So the next book that I got is one of the many classics that I had gotten. Actually, no, there's one more before that. So I got a Line Among Men, which is the third in the Wicked series. So on Thrift Books, I had gotten books 1 and 2 prior to my book buying ban. And I was like, okay, well, I kind of don't want to start this series until I can kind of build up to getting the third and fourth book in this series. So now I physically own the third book. I just got like a standard paperback. It was in really good condition. It was only $3.99 that I paid at Half Price Books. So, it is a 426 page book. It was published back in 2008, and it just continues that Wicked series, which, you know, I haven't started the Wicked series yet. I do plan on starting it, and now that I have at least 3 of the 4 books, I feel like I have enough to kind of work off of to build up to getting that 4th book, and then even the prequel books, because I do want to get Alfie. I guess Galinda is coming out soon, so I really want to get that one as well. And I think there is one more prequel, but I kind of want to like deep dive into this because I was really obsessed with my daughter with the Wicked movies. I had never seen the musical itself, but I have heard amazing things, and I've like been told that it's absolutely fantastic. But you know, money is a thing. So, but yeah, that is one of the other books that I got. And, I'm really looking forward to reading this series. So this one now is one of the many classics that I had gotten from the store, and the copy that I got was in really decent shape. I only paid $2.49 for this one, and it's Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I've been kind of on the fence if I want to purchase like a bunch of classics, because I've been finding like sometimes, like, I feel like I read a classic and I'm like, I feel good about reading the classic. I'm glad that I picked it up because it was definitely worth the read. But I find myself not really picking them back up. But I feel like with Mary Shelley, I feel like, you know, the science fiction classics have been a hit for me, and I'm really hoping that this one is also a hit as well. But I've heard so many amazing things about it, but then there's others that are on BookTube that are like, no, this just ain't for me. It's like kind of a mix of like horror and sci-fi. And it's got like, it's only like 353 pages, the edition that I have. But, for $2.49, I really couldn't pass it up, especially since the average rating on hardcover is close to 4 stars. So I feel like I really needed to have this book, and I really needed to consume this book. And, you know, I just had to have it. So it ended up in my, my shopping bag. So, but yeah, if you guys don't know what Frankenstein is, according to hardcover, it says Mary Shelley, I keep saying Marie. It's Mary Shelley, then Goodwin, and Percy Shelley were visiting their friend Lord Byron in Geneva one rainy summer. With the weather against them, they decided to spend their time writing ghost stories for each other. Frankenstein is Mary Shelley's submission to their contest, later published anonymously in 1818. And basically, the story goes, Victor Frankenstein, a strange but brilliant scientist, discovers a method of imparting life to inanimate, and I cannot say that word, inanimate matter. The monster is thus born, a hideous 8-foot-tall creature of muscle, speed, and intellect. Frankenstein's rejection of his appalling creation sends it into a spiral of despair, and Frankenstein's life is never the same. I think it's absolutely that sounds fantastic. I am so obsessed with like all things sci-fi, and for me to start diving into these like sci-fi classics, I'm just like, give it to me. I need it all. So I'm really, really excited about like being able to have this on my shelf, be able to like even just dive into it. And hopefully the edition that I got is the full edition, because I've been finding that certain copies aren't the full story. And I'm a little nervous because like one of them that I'm going to be talking about, not the next one, but the following one, I've been told that one is like 1,300 pages, and the edition I have is not 1,300 pages. So, but I'll get into that in a second. So, but yes, I did get Frankenstein. It was $2.49 at Half Price Books. All right, so the next one is a author that I have actually not read yet. This is another classic, but it is called The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. And I've been hearing really amazing things when it comes to these classic horror authors, especially Henry James. So this one was published in 1898. It's 134 pages. It is considered a mystery, short story, horror, fantasy, fiction, according to hardcover. But all the book info says is the classic ghost story about a high-strung governess and the two young children who may or may not be plotting with diabolical Peter Quint. I have no idea what any of that means, but hey, when you involve kids and it's considered a horror story, please sign me up when it comes to a book. When it comes to a movie, though, I don't know. We'll have to kind of evaluate that, but may need to have the lights turned on or anything. I'm a little scaredy cat when it comes to like watching horror movies, but I definitely can't do them in the theater because it's just too dark, and I feel like I will probably pee my pants. So, but this one is an average 3.2 rated. Apparently there's other stories in the edition that I have, so I'm pretty excited about that. And being able to dive into Henry James's work. So, and then that one I paid $2.99 for. All right, so this is the one that I mentioned that I'm a little nervous on the edition that I got because I've been told in other news that, you know, this is normally a 1,458 page book. Let me go grab my copy and I'll tell you guys which book this is. Oh, guys, I just saw this on the cover. Oh, man. Okay. So, the book is called Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. So, I was afraid that I did not get the full edition. So, this is the abridged with an introduction by James K. Robinson, University of Cincinnati. I only paid $1.49 for this book, guys, okay? So, this is only a 336-page book. And now finding out that the actual edition of this, the full story, is 1,458 pages. I feel like I want to give the abridged version a try, but now I'm starting to feel like I need to be on the hunt for the actual 1,400 page book because I really want to read this badly. I'm obsessed with this movie. The rendition with Anne Hathaway and Amanda Seyfried, I'm just obsessed with that version. And I am absolutely obsessed with the Broadway play, because I did see this like by myself. I slipped out of the house, like, you know, because I managed to score tickets when they were in Cleveland, and I absolutely love this Broadway play. It is fantastic. So this was published back in 1862. Victor Hugo, he is definitely a guy that I've read before. I really loved his writing, and I am like wanting to read a lot more by Victor Hugo. So if you guys have any suggestions on Victor Hugo, please let me know. But this is the one that I was really, really excited about. I thought I got this for a steal, but yeah, I mean, it's $1.49. It looks like the edition that I have is pretty beat up. I mean, I don't know, like it's pretty worn. It's definitely been loved. And the cover is not bent or anything, but there is definitely some wear on the edges of this. But the fact now that I know that I have the abridged version, I'll give it a try, but I feel like I really need to dive in and find the full version. That's 1,400 pages. But apparently Victor Hugo's tale of injustice, heroism, and love follows the fortunes of Jean Valjean, an escaped convict determined to put his criminal past behind him, but his attempts to become a respected member of the community are constantly put under threat by his own conscience when owing to a case of mistaken identity, another man is arrested in his place, and by the relentless investigations of the dodged inspector Javier, I believe. Wait, I'm not good with these names. It is not simply for himself that Valjean maybe must stay free. However, for he was sworn to protect the baby daughter of Fantine, driven to prostitution by poverty. So, I mean, there's a good set of characters in this, and I apologize for botching up these names because, you know, when I look at a name, I'm like trying to interpret as best as I can. But I'm really obsessed, and I'm really excited to at least have the abridged version. But yeah, I'm gonna note to myself that I really do need to find the actual like full 1,400 page version of this. The next book that I got was The Awakening by Kate Chopin. So this one was published back in 1899. It is a 187 page book. I am all about having small books on my shelf, especially with being able to break apart those giant fantasy books that I had mentioned in the previous episode. I am really, really happy about this birthday haul because a lot of the books that I did receive, well, not receive, I bought it to me from me. And I found that having like a good mix of those like smaller books versus the larger books, it's going to kind of help break apart that. But The Awakening by Kate Chopin, like I said, 1899. Average rating is about 3.5 stars on hardcover. And what the info says is, when first published in 1899, The Awakening shocked readers with its honest treatment of female marital infidelity. Audiences accustomed to the pieties of late Victorian romantic fiction were taken aback by Chopin's daring portrayal of a woman trapped in a stifling marriage who seeks and finds passionate physical love outside the confines of her domestic situation. Aside from its unusually frank treatment of a then controversial subject, the novel is widely admired today for its literary qualities. Edmund Wilson characterized it as a work quite uninhibited and beautifully written, which anticipates D.H. Lawrence in its treatment of infidelity. Although the theme of marital infidelity no longer shocks, few novels have plumed the psychology of a woman involved in an illicit relationship with the perception, artistry, and honesty that Kate Chopin brought to The Awakening. Normally, I am not a fan of women like literature, because I know Elin Hilderbrand is one that does a lot of women literature. But I'm going to be honest with you, this sounded really good, and I was really interested in the fact that it's under 200 pages. I was like, hey, let's go. I only paid $1.99 for it, so I was like, $2, let's score. Like, in the cart, it went. So yeah, I got that one. I also got The Alchemist, by Paulo, Coelho, I believe. Again, my horribleness with trying to pronounce these names. But this is the infamous, like, feel good adventure classic. I guess apparently it's like philosophy, fantasy. Everyone's been talking about this book. So I feel like, it was time for me to read it. This was published, I guess this 25th edition anniversary one was published back in 1988. I only paid $7.19 for this book, but the average rating is 3.5 stars. I've been told it's very lighthearted, hopeful. It's a good, feel-good, like, self-discovery book, from what I was told. But basically, I've been told I have to read this book. And especially with, like, the classics, I feel like this should have been way top of my list. So yeah, now I physically own it. The next one that I got was Dragon Keeper by Robin Hobb. So I have never read anything by Robin Hobb. I've been told she is fantastic when it comes to high fantasy, sci-fi, fiction, all the things. She's got a ton of different trilogies and series and all kinds of things. And honestly, I had asked the lady that works at Half Price Books, I was like, I've been really looking for Robin Hobb books. I don't know what series to kind of start with. What do you guys actually have? And she gave me The Dragon Keeper by Robin Hobb. This one was published in 2002. This apparently is the starter for the Rain Wild Chronicles. So when I saw a dragon on the front, I was like, sold. So I only paid $13.49 for this book. And actually, this is probably the most expensive book that I purchased out of this entire haul. So I was really happy about it. And the fact that there's dragons in this, I'm excited. The average rating is 3.9. So I'm like, you know what? I think I picked a really good starter set, if you will, with Robin Hobb. But yeah, I did get this first one. Now I can finally get exposure into Robin Hobb. I've heard a lot of good things about her Assassin's Chronicles, I think, series. I'm still on the hunt for that, but it'll come in time. But yeah, so I will be starting off with The Dragon Keeper, and pretty much what this description says on hardcover is, guided by the great blue dragon, Tintaglia, they came from the sea, a tangle of serpents fighting their way up the Rain Wilds River, the first to make the perilous journey to the cocooning grounds in generations. Many have died along the way. With its acid waters and impenetrable forest, it is a hard place for any to survive. People are changed by the rain wilds, subtly or otherwise. One such is Thymara, born with black claws and other aberrations. She should have been exposed at birth, but her father saved her and her mother has never forgiven him. Like everyone else, Thymera is fascinated by the return of dragons. It is as if they symbolize the return of hope to their war-torn world. Leftrin, captain of the live ship Tarman, also has an interest in the hatching. So does Bingtown newlywed Elise Finbach, who has made it her life's work to study all there is to know of dragons. But the creatures which emerge from the cocoons are a travesty of the powerful, shining dragons of old. Stunted and deformed, they cannot fly. Some seem witless and bestial. Soon they become a danger and a burden to the rain wilders. Something must be done. The dragons claim an ancestral memory of a fabled elderling city far upriver. Perhaps there the dragons will find their true home. But Kelsinger appears on no maps, and they cannot get there on their own. Wow, I can't read today. A band of dragon keepers, hunters, and chroniclers must attend them. To be a dragon keeper is a dangerous job. Their charges are vicious and unpredictable, and there are many unknown perils on the journey to a city which may not even exist. Oh my god, that sounds so cool. I don't like that there's animal cruelty and animal death as content warnings, though. Bro, oh my god. This sounds so good, though. I'm like, but I cannot stand people treating animals like crap. Okay. I mean, it's got an average rating of 4.0 stars, and I have it now. I physically own it. I should have done a little bit more research before saying, yes, I'm going to buy it, but oh, that sounds so good. Okay, yeah, I am excited. I am. I'm just a little nervous about that content warning. A little more nervous than not, but you know, we will get through it. So, all right. So, the next three are books 7, 8, and 9 in the Wheel of Time series. So since I had told you guys I have books 1 through 6, I've been trying to build up more onto my Wheel of Time series, because I know, like, once I get into the series, I know I'm going to be absolutely obsessed with this freaking series. I've seen trailers for the actual show, and I've been putting off because I want to read these books so flippin' bad. But yeah, I do physically own now, let's see if I get this right, A Crown of Swords, The Path of Daggers, and Winter's Heart. I believe those are the three. Yeah, so Path of Daggers is book 8. A Crown of Swords is book 7, and Winter's Heart is book 9. I'm excited. I can't tell you guys how excited I am. Winter's Heart was $10.99. The Path of Daggers was $11.49. And A Crown of Swords was $10.34. Guys, when I looked at these books on Barnes & Noble or Books A Million, each of these books were like easy $20 to $25, almost $35. So for me to get these books for 10-ish bucks, I was like, please sign me up. Yes, get in my cart. Like, I will purchase you now. So, okay. So, yeah. So I got those. I got, so I had the Lee Bardugo duologies. I have Crooked Kingdom, so the Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom duology. And then I had, the King of Scars, but I did not have the Rule of Wolves. Well, now I physically own it. It was $9.99. As soon as I saw that, I was like, yes, I could finally get into the duologies of Lee Bardugo's Shadow and Bone series. I'm so flippin' excited. I was very, very obsessed with this, like, Shadow and Bone series, and still to this day, I absolutely love that series. The concept of it and all that, and now, like, being kind of exposed into these other like people and parts of this world, I am very, very excited. So I do physically own that. For a while, I thought I owned both King of Scars and Rule of Wolves, but I realized when I had purchased the King of Scars, I never received my Rule of Wolves. They ended up just refunding me because they, unfortunately, sold out immediately and they couldn't fulfill my order. So, but I now own that. I also own Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. I only paid $2.49 for that. If you guys know, I am like kind of obsessed with Charles Dickens's writing. He's like one of my all-time favorite authors when it comes to classics. So I do now own Oliver Twist, which I'm really, really excited about. I've heard this is kind of like a dark, sad book because it's about a kid and just all of the things that Oliver goes through, like he's an orphan and all the things. But I've been hearing, like, out of all the Charles Dickens books, like A Tale of Two Cities, Great Expectations, and Oliver Twist are the main ones that I need to read. So I've only read a few, but I'm still absolutely obsessed with his writing. I also got, to kind of just keep moving things along, because there's still quite a few more that I need to talk about, The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. So, if you guys know, I do own The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. That is a totally different classic. I did not realize, though, that H.G. Wells had a book called The Invisible Man. And it's a science fiction classic, and I'm really excited for this because it is like less than 200 pages. And the average rating on hardcover is 3.5 stars. It was published back in 1897, so I'm really excited about this one. Who doesn't want a book about a guy that is, like, you know, completely invisible and no one can see him? Like, that would be great, like, to kind of move about the world without, like, being noticed in any way, shape, or form. But I'm really excited about this one. This was one of the classics that I did want to get to, you know, in the next 5 years or whatever. So, and I only paid $2.49 for it, so I can't complain. The next book that I got, so I actually was introduced to this one off of Ian Goobley's YouTube page. And thank you, Ian, for introducing me to this classic, because, like, it sounds absolutely fantastic. And I know Ashlyn also read this one as well. So I was like, okay, you guys sold me. Between the two of them, I'm like, yes, let's go. The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. This was published back in 1844, and it's a 1,276 page book. Now, I don't know if my version is that big. I do need to double check. I think it is. I only paid $3.49 for this thing, but it's got an average rating of 4.5 stars on hardcover, and there's like 1,500 ratings. So obviously this is something that I need to read, and I was really, really excited that I now own it, and it was only like $3. So so yeah, so I own it now. So thank you, Ian and Ashlyn, for, like, talking and ranting and raving about this one. I'm really looking forward to reading this. The other ones that I got, I think I have 3 more to mention. Yeah, I do have 3 more to mention. Okay, so the next one is another sci-fi classic author. It is The Bicentennial Man and Other Stories by Isaac Asimov, and it is translated by Eileen Stordo Pereira, I believe. It was published in 1976, and it's got an average rating of 4.2 stars. I don't know if this was inspired by the movie with Robin Williams called Bicentennial Man. I'm really curious now if this is, but it's a short story science fiction. Like it's like complete short stories apparently. And it sounded really intriguing to me, so I was like, I've heard a lot of great things about Asimov as an author, and I believe I've actually read Foundation by him, but I wanted to dive more into his works, and he was like a top pick when it comes to the science fiction classics. So I did pay $6.99 for this book, but I'm really excited that this is on my shelf now. The next one that I got was Alice by Christina Henry. So this one is that dystopian, I heard it was like kind of horror. It's kind of like a spin-off of Alice in Wonderland, but in like a dark, twisty kind of way. So I was very intrigued, and actually this kind of inspired me from the Herkyad 3.0, because I was like looking at characters to authors prompt, and I was like, okay, well, what can I do? And this is Alice. So, I mean, but I ended up going with Ordinary Monsters, and then, Alice Hoffman, or, yeah, I think Alice Hoffman for the author, and then back to Alice in Wonderland for Through the Looking Glass, because I haven't read Through the Looking Glass yet. But I still want to read this one. But I happened to see it on the shelf, and it was only $7. And I was like, I really want to get this. So, and I know I'm going to love it, because I am really obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. I really love it a lot. But yeah, this is a dystopian YA adventure fantasy according to hardcover. And it says, from the national best-selling author of Ghost Tree comes a mind-bending novel inspired by the twisted and wondrous works of Lewis Carroll. In a warren of crumbling buildings and desperate people called the Old City, there stands a hospital with cinder block walls which echo the screams of the poor souls inside. In the hospital, there is a woman. Her hair, once blonde, hangs in tangles down her back. She doesn't remember why she's in such a terrible place. Just a tea party long ago and long years in blood. Then one night, a fire at the hospital gives the woman a chance to escape, tumbling out of the hole that imprisoned her, leaving her free to uncover the truth about what happened to her all those years ago. Only something else has escaped with her, something dark, something powerful, and to find the truth, she will have to track this beast to the very heart of the old city where the rabbit waits for his Alice. Oh, this is the description alone. Like, I've read this description before, but I'm like, every time I read it, I'm like, yes, let's do this. I love a good retelling of Alice in Wonderland, and I am just so excited. All right, so these next two, I saved the best for last, because I'm going to be honest with you guys. These two, I was shocked I could get these for such cheapness. So the first one is Eldest by Christopher Paolini. It is the second in the inheritance cycle. Give me a good dragon story. I missed out on this when I was a kid. This was published back in 2005. So I was 1 year into college by the time this came out, but I missed out on this because, like, I didn't know, one, it existed, and two, I was in college, so I was really busy at that time. But it's got an average rating of 3.8 stars, and I only paid $3 for this copy. I was looking at Barnes & Noble and Books A Million, like I said, and most of these book series I've been finding for over 20 some bucks, over 30 some bucks per installment of this book series, and there's 5 of them. So I'm like, no, I'm not paying all that. And honestly, I prefer to go to half price books. I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you guys can support like indie bookstores and, you know, these secondhand stores, heck, even go to a thrift store. Honestly, it is just worth it. And honestly, I cannot get over the quality of this. Like, it's so amazing. It's in such pristine condition. And for me to only pay like $3 freaking for it, I'm like, yes, let's go. But yeah, so I'm very, very excited to own Eldest, which is the second in the Inheritance series. They did have the remainder, but I have self-control. Even though I have already listed about 19 books on this list already, and I still have 2 more to give you guys. Yeah, I have self-control. So I figured the next time that I go up there, which will probably be in about a year, it'll likely be up there because they had like quite a few copies and they were still getting quite a few copies in. So I'm not worried about getting books 3, 4, and 5 in the inheritance cycle. But I love Christopher Paolini, like especially the Sleep in the Sea of Stars. That was like my first exposure to the author. After reading that, I personally found that I really wanted to keep diving into his work, even if it's a child's book series. I don't really care. I love a good book that has featured dragons on it. Okay, so as far as like the remainder of my so-called haul shopping trip for my birthday from Half Price Books, this last one is like, it was a gem. I seriously was like shocked that I found this one, because every time I had went into this store prior, this book was not on the shelf. So you guys know that I am starting to dive into the Ash Princess trilogy by Laura Sebastian. And I had owned books 1 and 3 and realized I didn't have 2. Well, now I own book 2. I'm really excited about this because it is in very pristine condition. And I only paid $4 for it. It was on the clearance rack shelf, if you will. And I was surprised that it was there, because I was like, seriously, this is here? This is like $3, like $3, $4. I was like, why is this on clearance? And like the girl was just like kind of looking at me like, what the heck? But I couldn't believe on how great of condition it was in. And the fact that now I own all 3 of these books. So now I can like, I have this thing where if I don't own like the entire series, I feel like it kind of disrupts my like reading flow. Especially when it comes to like YA fantasy trilogies, I feel like I really need to just have the next one on queue, because like most of the time, like with fantasy books, it doesn't matter if it's YA or adult or whatever the, subgenre is, like audience. I still feel like I need to have these in order so that if I am just obsessed and I need to keep tearing through it, I want to be able to have the next one on queue. It's probably a compulsion thing. I don't know, but personally, I'm really, really happy that I was able to get this, because the average rating for this installment on the trilogy is 3.8 stars. So I know it's really good. And it's like 496 pages. It was published back in 2019. And I got the hardcover version of it. I'm so excited. Hardcover. I like, normally when I go to Half Price Books, I'm only finding good pristine condition, like paperbacks. And the fact that I have the hardcover version, I was like, yay, this is really a treat for me. So yeah, so in total, I paid around $120 for my entire book selection. 20 books for $120, that's not too bad. I mean, I probably would have spent a heck of a lot more money if I would have went to like Barnes and Noble or whatever. But we're being very smart about things, okay? I need to be very strategic, and I don't want to feel guilty for buying myself something. The last book I have to mention, I want to mention another like secondhand store, and this one's actually online. It is like Thrift Books. So each year, I'm part of their like reward system. So each year I get a credit for a free book for my birthday, which is pretty nifty. And since I'm a Literary Plus member, which is like so many dollars that you spend over time, like you earn that status or whatever, I can get books that are $7 or less in value. So I ended up getting The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. This was published back in 2000, It's got an average rating of 3.8 stars on hardcover, and it's, it sounds like something up my alley. So I've never really, I'm going to be honest with you, I can't remember if I've ever read this author, but I've seen that there's like a movie adaptation of this, I think. But it's like basically about a young girl's journey towards healing and the transforming power of love. It sounded really good, and I guess it's got like a medium pace to it. But the family lives in South Carolina, and it's just like about this little girl and how she's kind of going through the motions of like kind of grieving over her mother that died when she was 4, and just like talking through like all like it just goes through like a lot of the emotions of like growing up with no mom, and it just sounded really, really good. I'm a sucker for these types of stories, especially when I know there's a movie adaptation. I feel like I have to read it. But I only paid $1.49 for shipping because I was able to get my book for free. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you guys are looking to build your like little library at home, or if you're trying to supply books for like a classroom, or even like free little libraries in the area, and you have the means to do it, I definitely recommend checking out Half Price Books, Thrift Books, and Better World Books. Those 3, I will leave a link in the description below of my podcast. And hey guys, editing Christina here. So I wanted to give you guys an update on the websites, Half Price Books, and things like that. I found out that Half Price Books is only US based. However, though, with Thrift Books, they do ship internationally and to Canada. So in the description, I will share a link with you guys. If you use my code, so when you spend $30, you will get a free book reward and get jump started on all the points that you get with that reward system. But honestly, it's such a great website to visit, and the fact that you can it ships internationally and everything, I thought it would be a great thing for you guys. So definitely check out the link in the description. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. And I will also be sharing this information on my Facebook page, Chapter 1 and Beyond, so that you guys have access to that, and you guys can reach out to me as well there. So just wanted to give you guys an update on that. Honestly, I feel in my gut that you guys, like, I feel like we should be supporting secondhand stores and more of the indie bookstores, honestly. That's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people have other opinions, but honestly, I feel good about representing and going about like supporting indie bookstores and independent bookstores and secondhand shops and things like that. So but yeah, I couldn't get over on this particular, I guess they call it, book haul. I am very, very excited that I do have another 21 books that are on my shelf. Not so excited about the fact that I'm not going to get my shelf down anytime soon. But the thing is, with these like more denser, like hardier, book series that I do have for fantasy, I feel like I need to like kind of mix it up with something smaller and more bite-sized. Like I'm trying really, really hard to, yeah, I love my audiobooks, but I really, really want to try to read more physically. And I feel like, honestly, now that I'm 40, of the time of this release of this episode, I feel like, honestly, I need to be more gracious of giving myself more self-care and giving myself more time to, just be able to unwind and enjoy the things I want to enjoy, you know? I've been wanting to learn how to play piano and violin as well. So I feel like my hope for this upcoming year, around the sun, is that I can give myself more me time and more, more ability to unwind more. And I feel like, I have amazing friends that support that in helping me with the kids. And, I feel like, I have emotional support humans and emotional support animals in my life that really help support that. So, I am really looking forward to the next year ahead and just looking at all these amazing books, and then also being able to share more of my creative content here on this podcast. So, it's so weird being able to celebrate my birthday, on this podcast. So thank you guys. I really, appreciate all the support and all of the love that you guys share for this podcast. And, even though like you guys are probably, miles and miles apart from me, I appreciate everything that you guys do to support this podcast. So, because if it wasn't for listeners and viewers and things like that, I would still be talking to my wall by myself. So, doing my punny, weird pronunciations of names and jokes, and laughing at myself. So yeah. But yeah, that's it for this episode. I know this was a very long one, and it was only because I kind of dove deeper into each of the books, but I felt it was like a fun way to kind of track yet another stack of books that are on my shelf. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you guys drink your water, happy reading, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care. Bye.